got a question for you about your philosophy on acting. I remember reading an interview with Milos Forman talking about Man on the Moon and how the other actor he would have cast was you. And,
yeah, we talked about it for a while.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, the roles you didn't get, especially early on in your career, I mean, did you ever agonize about that? Were you ever depressed, or how did you just handle that whole thing?
Which specifically?
Well, just when you almost got a role.
I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot that, since I started working in films, I mean, I haven't had the experience a whole lot of really wanting to do something and not getting to do it. I mean, there's when you're young, when you're an actor and you're sort of struggling as actors do, sometimes it's tough. You see, I mean, there is the famous old joke about how many actors does it take to screw in a light bulb, you know, and the answer is 100, 1 to do it and 99 to say I could have done that so much better, and that's how you feel for a long time. You know, you watch people and you're just going like, I could have done that, you know, but I haven't had to deal with that in a while, thank God.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Man on the Moon they did while I was doing Fight Club anyway. That was part of the problem. I talked to Milos.
Now, a question on the humorous side. You know, I'm Catholic. I went to catechism, and I remember when the priest walked in with the collar, and like everyone in the class would just kind of sit up and take notice. When you had the collar on and you walked away from the set, did you notice people reacting just a little bit differently?
In fact, to such a degree that, you know, I mean, I don't tend to get recognized like that, you know, but it's come to the point where you know, I get recognized here and there. With the collar on, nobody looked at who I was. They looked at the collar. Like, you know what I mean? I would walk around and people would, and I would think for a second, I thought, oh, you know, but it wasn't, they weren't recognizing me. They were just going, oh, it's a young priest, you know what I mean? Well, it's amazing how it completely makes people treat you nicely. And I found the same thing. We had this, we had a technical advisor, who was the pastor of the church that we shot in up on 107th in Amsterdam, and wonderful guy, and I was just, you know, you just feel you are just on your best behavior. And it's like, and he's just, you know, he's a tough talking New York priest, and but you just sit there going, yes, thank you, Father, thank you.
Edward, got a question for you about test screenings with the little cards,
right,
and you fill them out. Now, for a director, how nerve-wracking for you to sit in the audience during a test screening, and did you make any subtle changes as a result of the screening?
Oh, sure. I mean, not subtle. You make some huge changes, especially with a film like this, because, you know, I mean, this isn't American History X. You're not trying to, like, you know, slam people home with the message. It's a comedy, you know, and there's nothing better than a test screening audience for a comedy, because it's real clear, you know, what people are enjoying and what they can do without, and it is a little nerve-wracking. Our first one went very well, fortunately. So, but yeah, you know, we probably cut 15 minutes out of the movie after our first test screening.
Well, just curious, how eye-opening has this whole experience been for you, especially on the business side, like with ad campaigns? Or is that something you're getting involved with and how they sell the movie?
Yeah, although you know, as an actor, at a certain point, you end up getting a little bit involved in that stuff too. It's the part of it that is more, you know, strictly the director's kind of role is in, you know, it's in the technical end of, I mean, in addition obviously to editing and sort of being ultimately the storyteller, you know, you're dealing with color correction of the print and the sound mix and a lot and the composing and the score and all that. So you deal with a lot of fun stuff that you don't get to do as an actor.
And one last question. I'm doing a story on actors' names and the pressure some actors have to change their name, like women to Tiffany or something really Hollywood. Now, your name, of course...
I got a lot of pressure to change to Tiffany.
Yeah. Well, the Edward Norton, Ed Norton, I mean, was it ever suggested to you that were people trying to get you to change that?
Not really. It was never Ed, so it's always, I've always been Edward, because my father was Ed, so, you know, so I never had that. And my generation's a little... not quite as, you know, connected to the whole honeymooners thing. I didn't really see it until I was older.
If you had been named Keith Partridge, then you would have had to change it.
That would have been problematic. I would have changed it a number of times.